Hello and welcome to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to keep you company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the night feeds. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is scrolling when the baby sleeps instead of sleeping. I really shot myself in the foot last night, guys. I had one of them nights when I really went to bed earlier than usual, and instead of going to sleep when the baby fell asleep, I went on my phone. I thought I'd just check this quick email. And checking that quick email turned into an hour-long scroll on the phone. You know how much I hate that. And the baby was sound asleep next to me. I could have had that hour, but no, I chose to scroll. And after an hour, I put my phone down. I said, no, go to sleep now. And I couldn't get to sleep. I was so overstimulated by that I was just lay awake, just thinking about nothing in particular. And after about an hour of lying there, I began to fall asleep. And just as my eyes began to close, my 8-month-old baby woke. And he's teething at the moment. So when he wakes in the night, it's, a fussy kind of wake. He's grumbly and he needs a feed. And I was kicking myself. I was like, you could have had 2 hours, 2 solid hours. But no, I chose to scroll. Don't fall into the scroll trap when the baby sleeps. You've seen the memes. We all laugh at the memes. And then we do it. And we have really broken sleep throughout the night. And the rest of the night wasn't great, to be honest. I was up quite a lot. I remember being up at 4 for quite a while. And then the next thing I knew, it was 7:30 and we were all awake. And I felt like my face was falling off. When you wake and you're like, how am I going to get up? How am I going to get up from this bed and parent 3 little humans under 5 years old? I don't know how that's going to happen. But yeah, it did. It happened. We got up, and it's funny how refreshed I feel now. It's weird. It always catches up with me a few days later, though, a night like that. So we'll see. But before I jump in tonight, I want to say that if you could leave me comments on Spotify, I know about half of you listen on Spotify. Leave me comments on the show. Each episode has a little section, and I would love to hear from you guys. I would love a bit more of a back and forth with this podcast. I get lovely emails. Keep the emails coming, thenightfeedpodcast@gmail.com. But leave me comments as well on Spotify. You can't leave comments on Apple, but I know you can leave reviews if you wanted to leave a review. Anything like that, I love, because it's great to have that, I suppose, interaction. I've got lots of new listeners this week, so I'd love to hear from you. If there's any questions you have, if there's anything you'd like to share, if you have any comments about the episode, stick them in the comment section. I'll reply to all of them, and I always respond to emails, so keep them coming in, because it's really great to hear from you. I love our little night feed community. I'm starting this episode with a rant. I am furious about this, and you might listen and think, oh, you're overreacting, but let me finish, because I'm quite taken aback. So my eldest is 5 this week, and we've booked the soft play for a party for her, and we're all really excited. I had this weird psychic premonition in December that somebody else was going to have a party on the same day. I genuinely believe I'm a bit psychic. My mum's a bit psychic, and I've got concrete evidence as to why I'm a little bit psychic, which I will segue back to in a minute after my rant. Continuing the rant. So I decided to get the invites for this party we're having into school first week back after Christmas. I thought that gives everyone a month's notice for the party. Everyone gets their invite. The etiquette in the class is you just give an invite to everybody, which is absolutely fine. She's only going to be 5. It's her first year at school. You want to have a nice party to properly introduce yourself to parents and get to know the kids. And we're looking forward to it. So we had the RSVPs come back, and we've all been really looking forward to it. Now, my little girl comes home from school yesterday and she starts talking about the boys going to some party. And I don't really know what she meant. I was like, okay. Looked in her book bag and there's an invitation for a party on the same day with 4 days notice, 5 days notice. I was like, what? This can't be real. Like, surely you get an invite a month ago for a birthday party on said day. You don't then book your party on the same day. I can't get over it, really. I think if that was me and I was really set on one day, but I'd already had an invitation a month ago, I'd think, you know what, I'll go for the Saturday instead of the Sunday, or I'll do it the following weekend or the weekend before, or maybe one evening after school. There are so many days. And it just bugged me. One saving grace is that the party's in the evening, not the afternoon. So it is actually at a different time. However, it's still on the same day. I'm thinking, will some people decide to go to one and not the other? Or will people go to both? I don't know. I just think that is really poor form. Really poor form. Let me know in the comments. Come on, give me some comments. Back me up. Because some things you just have to let go. I'm not going to be confrontational. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to have a row about it. But I think when you just care so much about your child and you want them to have the best day, and then someone books a party on the same day, it's a bit of a slap in the face, isn't it? I just think, can we all just choose separate days for parties? Is it that hard? There's only 23 in the class. There's enough weekends. There's enough separate days to book our parties. Yeah, that's my rant. Am I overreacting? I don't think I am. Back me up. I'm coming back to why I'm psychic. My little segue then. My mum's always had a bit of... She's quite holistic, my mum. So she believes in that kind of thing. I'm a bit on the fence. But there was something that happened a couple of years ago. So my very, very good friend was pregnant with twins. And this was about 4 years ago. Gosh, it'll be nearly 5 now. When she had about 6 weeks to go, I messaged her saying, how are you feeling? Hope you're keeping well. Can't wait to meet your little boys. They'll be here soon. Okay, that was the message I sent her on a random day 6 weeks before, because I'd had a dream the night before. So I texted her saying, I had this dream. I was in the hospital visiting you and your 2 gorgeous boys. So excited for you. She then texts me the next morning a picture of the babies. They'd been born 6 weeks early, the night I had the dream. So I was dreaming about it as she was in labour. No signs of any early pregnancy before that. She hadn't said she was getting any contractions or anything like that. Nothing. And I dreamt that dream as she was having the babies. So tell me that's not a little bit psychic. There's something there, isn't there? There is definitely something that, I don't know, there's like a weird intuition we have as humans, and I really believe in it. And I was right about the party as well. I had a psychic premonition that there was going to be another party on the same day. Gosh, always go with your gut, mums. Always follow that gut. I had an unintentional screen-free day on Saturday, and we know, listeners, long-time listeners, how much I battle with putting the phone down, screen-free time. I don't like social media. I'm really trying to step away from it, because when I do, I feel great. On Saturday, I didn't go on my phone, hardly at all. And there's a reason. People in the UK, listeners in the UK, will probably know that it was the Traitors final on Friday. Jason and I aren't really big TV people. We don't really watch a lot of reality TV. We dip in and out of series and that kind of thing. But the Traitors, I absolutely love. I just think the concept's brilliant. It's nail-biting TV. I love it. And my family all like it too. But on Friday, we were halfway through the final and my little 3-year-old woke not feeling very well. So we decided to pause it. We went upstairs to look after her, and then we decided, right, let's call it a night. Let's go to bed. It could be a tough one tonight. So obviously we didn't watch the end. And then the next morning, my dad messages this family group, traitors. Wow. So I jumped to the phone. I was like, no spoilers. I've not seen it. Because if you were invested in a programme like The Traitors for 4 weeks, the final, you've invested all that time, you want to be surprised, don't you? You want that bit where they're at the round table and they're all going off at each other and you think, are they gonna do it? Are they going to do it? And I thought, right, my mum messaged, she was like, you're not going to be able to go on your phone, you know. I was like, I'm not going to go on it. I'm not going to go on my phone. And I lasted a whole day, didn't go on any news websites, didn't go any social media. I avoided it. Like the bloody plague. And we watched it on Saturday night and it was brilliant. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it was wow. I thought that outcome was crazy good. It was like, how on earth have you done that? But yeah, again, drop me a comment. What do you think about The Traitors? But yeah, it was really good actually having a phone-free day. I took my daughter to ballet in the morning and I sat with a book while she was in a class for an hour. I read more of my book, The Hypnotist Love Story by Leanne Moriarty, if anyone's interested. I picked it up from a charity shop the other day because I was saying to my friend, I keep banging on about reading a book and I've not picked one up. I buy lots of non-fiction books. I don't know about you, lots of like motherhood books, and I'm into marketing, so marketing books. I don't read them. I like read the first few pages. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I'll put it down and forget about it. So I said to my friend, I'm going to go in this charity shop, I'm going to pick a book because otherwise I just will talk about reading and I won't get around to it. So I picked this one. I like the author, Leanne Moriarty. I've read a few of her things. It's called The Hypnotist Love Story, and I'm about halfway through. It's good so far. I don't know what the twist is going to be. There's got to be a twist, but I've been really enjoying picking my book up instead of my phone. And my unintentional screen-free day, thanks to The Traitors, was lovely. Highly recommend. Okay, on to the emails. I've had a few emails this week, and it's great to hear from you as always. I've had some, a funny one, which I'll get to in a minute. But this one first says, an apology to the parents I judged. Hi, Charlotte. I wanted to write in with something I've been thinking about a lot lately. For context, I worked in education for about 12 years before having my first child. I didn't grow up around babies, and I only ever worked with kids at age 3 and up. I thought I understood parents. I really didn't. So this is an apology to the mum who overslept and was late picking up her child, even though she lived just down the road. I'm sorry. I thought you were careless or disorganised. Now I know you were probably just exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't even fix. To the parents at the park whose toddler was completely losing it while I silently judged from a bench, I'm sorry. I'm right there with you now. Toddlers are tiny and mighty and absolutely feral in public spaces. I had no idea. And to anyone who ever felt my judgment or was on the receiving end of my unsolicited advice because I was a teacher and thought that somehow qualified me as a parent, I'm sorry for that too. I genuinely did not understand how much of your life is ruled by these tiny people. Meals, naps, snacks, diapers, bottles, nursing, formula, clothes, leaving the house, not leaving the house, every decision, every day. It is all consuming and I get it now. This is a lawless land and you only truly understand it once you're in it. Before, I was absolutely hating from outside the club. Thanks for letting me share. Welcome to the lawless land. It's so true, isn't it? I guess as a teacher, you probably think you know it, don't you? Meeting all these 3-year-olds, thinking, oh gosh, why are they late? But yeah, you don't get parenthood until you are in it. You don't get the love that is like, oh my Lord, so consuming. but then you don't get the tiredness that is also, oh my Lord, so consuming. And it's easy to judge, isn't it? It's easy to see people struggling with kids having a tantrum. And sometimes people do jump on the kid's side and think, well, why is that kid so upset? It must be the parent's fault. But until you have parented a toddler, you can't quite grasp the things that can set them off. I know I spoke about it on last week's episode about the Asda meltdown we had. And in the moment, as a parent, it's like rabbit in headlights sometimes. You're like, do I push through? Do I give them what they want? Do I give in? Do I not? Oh, people are judging me. And you have to just go with what's right for you. But yeah, as a non-parent back in my 20s, I would never have got that. And I grew up around babies. I au paired. But there is a difference to becoming a parent and feeling the feelings that you feel and the responsibility. And like you said, every decision, naps, snacks, meals, when you leave the house, when you don't leave the house, all these little micro decisions throughout your day, there are so many of them. And I completely agree. It is important to acknowledge that, I suppose, isn't it? So thanks for your email. And I'm glad that you acknowledge it and understand now that it is completely different. And I hope you're doing well. I hope you're loving parenthood, even though every little micro decision is definitely dictated by your little person. Okay, on to the next email. Subject says, I think the most disgusting thing ever happened to me today. Wow. Well, we've got quite a low bar on this podcast, so let's see. Hi, Charlotte. Today, my toddler and I went out to the local cafe. Mid-meal, she decided that she needed to go to the toilet. So off we went. Now, as any toddler mum will know, protecting them from germs in toilets can be quite difficult when their little hands wander absolutely everywhere. As I was leaning to wipe my toddler's bum, little did I know she'd reached for the toilet brush. Oh, God. I leaned up to speak to her, and as I opened my mouth, said toilet brush swung round and hit me smack on the tongue. Ah! Oh my God. Okay, you win. You win. You win the disgusting trophy. I have never screamed so much in my life. I dropped everything, dashed to the sink, which was luckily in the cubicle, and ran the tap over my tongue. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is horrendous. I have never felt so sick in my entire life. My toddler didn't quite grasp the reaction. I said, drop it now. She proceeded to drop said toilet brush on the floor. I've not seen her look that shocked in a long, long time. Needless to say, this is my public service announcement to anybody going to a toilet with a toddler. Keep your mouth closed. Thanks for sharing. Much love. Okay. The bar has been lowered. That has to be the most disgusting email we've ever had. Oh my gosh, I feel for you so much. I would want to bleach my tongue. I know you can't bleach your tongue, but I would want to. Oh my God. That has just gone right through me. Oh my gosh, these toddlers, eh? You have to have eyes in the back, in the front, in the side of your head. You have to have a shut mouth in a toilet. I mean, geez Louise. That was horrendous. And I'm sending you so much love on your recovery from the trauma that must have caused you. Okay, next email says, just hold the baby so she can eat. Hi, Charlotte. I wanted to share something that happened at a family dinner last night that I can't stop thinking about. I overheard the mum of a 6-month-old snap at her husband, just eat so you can take it and I can eat my food. I looked over. She was bouncing the baby in one arm, fork in the other. Her plate was completely full. Her husband had just asked her, why aren't you eating? Oh, God. It really wasn't rocket science why she wasn't eating. My 1-year-old was happily sitting in the high chair next to me, but I remember so clearly not that long ago when I couldn't get a single bite in until she was asleep. On the way home, my husband commented that he thought she was rude for speaking to her husband like that. I snapped back that I thought it was rude that her husband was oblivious to the fact that she had literally not ate a thing, just hold the baby. It's so frustrating how unseen this struggle still is for so many dads, and yet they're confused when we snap. We've all seen the Snickers commercial, right? I'm not myself and I'm hungry, so please hold the baby and let me eat. Anyone else? Love that. It's so true. And we can be our own worst enemies at times, can't we? We can just crack on. Oh, don't worry, I'll feed the baby, I'll feed the baby, I'll feed the baby. And then before we know it, everyone's there and we've still got a plate of cold food. And my father-in-law, bless him, is so sweet when it comes to this. We were having Christmas dinner and I had the baby on my knee because we forgot the little portable high chair. And he was so put out that had the baby on my knee that he made sure that everybody else passed the baby around while we ate. And I just thought that was so considerate. He was like, oh, poor Charlotte, she can't just hold the baby and not eat a Christmas dinner. And everyone was taking in turns holding the baby. Because to be fair, I will say this, Jason's very good with this. And I do feel like he sees this struggle. He will hold the baby and we'll take it in turns. And then he will feed the baby, I'll feed the baby. So maybe I addressed this really early on. Maybe Jason's just very perceptive like his dad. But I can imagine if you have a partner that doesn't get it and is oblivious to the fact that they can eat a full hot meal while yours goes cold, maybe we need to address it. Maybe we need to say, look, guys, I need to eat too. So I think you were right. I think she should have snapped if he was completely oblivious. And then he said, why haven't you eaten? When she's bouncing a baby on her knee with a fork in her hand that's probably been grabbed by said 6-month-old. Yeah, the struggle is real. And I think we need to bring more attention to the cold meal struggle. It's like the cold brew struggle, isn't it? The amount of times I put my tea in the microwave in a day. Thanks for the email. I think you're right to address that. And I think your reaction was right. And hopefully your husband's taken notes from that interaction. Next tonight is what's trending. And there's a type of post that keeps showing up in my feed lately, and it usually starts with something like, things no one warned me about postpartum, and it stops me every time. And it's not because the things are shocking, but it's because they're familiar. And what strikes me is that it's not the list itself, it's more the relief underneath it, like the comments from other mums. Because for a long time, I think new mums were only allowed to talk about postpartum in two ways. Either it was glowing and magical and Mother Earthly like, or it was cynical and extreme. But what's trending right now is the lives in the middle and the quiet truths and the stuff that doesn't really fit into either box. So it's like how no one warned you about the silence and the way the house feels after visitors leave, after the texts slow down, after the congratulations taper off, when it's just you and the baby in the day with hours ahead of you after not sleeping. No one warned you that you could love your baby so deeply and still grieve aspects of your old life at the same time. It's the weirdest paradox, isn't it? And we spoke about it before. And both things can be true. You know, it's these quiet, almost silent truths that are huge. And I think that every mother feels. And again, I think aren't spoken about that much, which is why I love this trend. And it's very, very real and very raw and what we want to see, I suppose. No one warned you about how 1 minute you're overwhelmed with love and how the next you're crying because you can't remember the last time you went to the toilet by yourself or had a longer shower than 5 minutes without thinking that the baby's crying when it's actually the sound of the water. And I think it's really, really easy to brush over these things. And if you haven't got a network around you of maybe a supportive mum and dad or friends that are going through the same thing, you may feel pretty isolated feeling these things. If you are, say, the first person in your friendship group to have a baby, you're worried that you're feeling this rage or this anger, or you're worried that you're not coping too well. most mums will go through the whole host of emotions. And it can be really, really unsettling. I saw a video the other day about the prolactin in breast milk and how it makes you, it puts you in fight or flight mode. And I've been having it recently, like this weekend. There was times when I just couldn't control my emotions and I had to just go upstairs. I was like, I'm just going to have to leave the room, go upstairs for a minute and have a cry or have a shout and, aggressively put washing away for a minute because I'm just angry for no reason. And it's really, really frustrating because I get this anger sometimes out of nowhere and no one's done anything. Okay, maybe the house is a little bit messy and it tipped me over the edge a little bit. But it's a really weird feeling when you've got no problems, but you're angry. And I just think it's good to put out there that everyone's going through this and the season can sometimes feel heavier than you expected. And it can feel slower and it can feel more emotionally complex than anyone prepared you for. But you're not alone and you're not failing and you're not doing anything wrong. It just is the intense level of hormones streaming through your body, the intense level of no sleep, which is used, let's just remind ourselves, as a form of torture in certain countries. You're functioning on not very much whilst trying to raise a human being. So it's just my reminder that whatever you're going through, you're not alone and it's not unusual. And it's important we talk, which is why I quite like this trend, because on any of these videos, you'll go to the comment section and there'll be so many comments like, oh, thanks for addressing this. I thought it was just me. I thought I was just angry. I thought I was just an emotional wreck. No, it's what we're all going through. And the more we talk about it, the better it is. Next tonight is my self-care tip. And what I'm going to do, which is what I'm going to pass on to you, is a few times throughout the day, deliberately take 5 to 10 minutes with no phone. When your baby is settled, ideally, whether they're contact napping or they're in the pram or the bouncer, wherever, just take 5 or 10 and just be. No scrolling, I'll just send this quick reply, or even no podcasts, just no noise, just sit or stare or breathe or notice how your shoulders feel. Just be present without any noise. I was talking about slow motherhood, analog motherhood the other day, and I've been really trying to practice it, picking up the book instead of the phone, and it's really, really helping. The days I pick up the book, I feel like a bit lighter and I feel happier and less chaotic. And I love cutting the noise out of motherhood because, let's face it, our algorithms, whether we like it or not, are all set up for our early motherhood, which is great for my podcast because I love researching this topic. I love finding out new tips and tricks and hacks. But at the same time, every time I go on my phone, I'm told by a new psychologist that this is the way to raise humans and this is the way not to break them and this is the way not. And you think, oh my Lord. So cut the noise, sit and just be. And do you know what my mum would say? She'd say, light a candle and watch it. It's called candle gazing. And you just stare at the flame and it really chills you out. And do you know what? I'm going to do that in a minute after this. I think I'm going to candle gaze for 10 minutes before I go and pick my 3-year-old up to prepare me for the fun and frolicking and chaos this afternoon will be. But yeah, see if it helps. Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote. At 2:47 a.m. the tears flowed, both yours and mine, Mama. At 2:48 I latched and we both felt relief. As you held me in your arms, a part of you yearned for your own Mama, to hold you, to be the voice in the night that tells you everything will be okay, that you will sleep again, and that you're doing a wonderful job, to reassure you that the meltdown you had in front of your toddler yesterday doesn't make you a bad mum. The overwhelm is normal, and we all feel like this sometimes. To tell you that there are thousands of mamas all over the world feeling what you're feeling now, awake every hour in a daze. Know that this time is tough, Mama, and you're not doing anything wrong. This season will pass and things will get so much easier. thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for being here as always. I hope you're all doing well, whether you're up in the night or whether you're on a pram walk. Keep the comments coming if you enjoyed the episode or if you have any questions or things you want to tell me yourself. Keep the emails coming too. And I look forward to responding to you all. I wish you all a restful, peaceful night ahead. Good night.